Oh, yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen!
Are you ready for your moment of bliss?
Because what Poppy wants, Poppy gets.
Yowie wowie! I don't even know if that's PG! Acknowledge me! Woo! Oh, you didn't know? Well, let me tell you something, brother!
Welcome to the most must-see WWE talk show in history. Welcome to
the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better! It's still real to me, damn it!
Hello and welcome to the bottom line of WWE Raw, November 7th, 2022. You're listening to the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast, the podcast best listened to while shopping for spandex. We are your Legion of Doom for this program. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob. Please embrace the Kingdom of the Madness by be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Pat, I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's program.
I did too. It wasn't a bad program at all. Not a hot start for a coming off a pay-per-view, but a decent start. And we established a lot going forward tonight, and I cannot wait till we get to War Games. Because 2 days past Crown Jewel and just 3 weeks until Survivor Series War Games, Monday Night Raw started with the Usos and Solo Sikoa coming down to the ring without Sami Zayn. On commentary, they tell us that the Usos haven't heard from Sami since Friday. And despite the crowd chanting for Sami, they come down and cut a promo, and there's no mention of Sami from the Usos either. They talk about how Roman smashed Logan Paul at Crown Jewel and how they smashed the Brawling Brutes. And come Friday, they're going to smash the New Day and the record for the longest tag team championship reign. Of course, the New Day come out, and this got personal quick. They say they're going to stop the Usos from beating the record. The Usos fire off a promo saying the New Day have everything, and they give them props for it. They have a cereal. They have Up, Up, Down, Down. They're even on Netflix. Then Xavier comes back with a promo saying the Usos haven't beat the record yet. So that means the Usos are technically chasing the New Day right now. They are first-generation superstars. The Usos were coddled, etc. This was a pretty intense promo. Then some comedy relief comes to the ring because Matt Riddle comes out with his bongos, and I'm pretty sure the point of him coming out to begin with was to recruit Xavier Woods for his band with Elias, since Xavier plays the trombone. And this sets up our first match of the night, New Day and Matt Riddle versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa. So, but before we get to the match, let's talk about this promo, Rob. I've got to say first, what a promo between the Usos and the New Day. And second, I know you're happy, and I'm happy too, that those promos didn't lead to someone saying the word truth and R-Truth come out and be a part of this. Because I'm pretty sure this was probably written with him in mind before he was actually injured. I'm not particularly happy about this being Matt Riddle being comedy relief here, though. What are your thoughts?
I don't understand. Let's talk about the positive. Good promos. I loved the history lesson we got between the New Day and the Usos, because, I mean, in all reality, these two teams have been facing off with each other for what, like 6-7 years now? So, like, there's a lot of history, not to mention an amazing Hell in a Cell match and a lot of other amazing matches they've had with each other. So I liked the history lesson there. I loved the Xavier Woods calling out the Usos, saying that they essentially were just born into the business, got coddled, and it was going to be handed to them. But Xavier and Kofi had to work hard. They had to create a YouTube channel just to get noticed. Like, all of these things.
Yeah, it was heated. It was personal. You could tell.
The Usos. Yeah, the Usos telling Kofi to stay home so he can protect himself, stay with his kids, and then Kofi responded back with what kind of example would he be to his kids if he didn't go out there and fight? Like, no, it was good. Okay, this is the negative. Matt Riddle wrestling in a match with these guys is awesome. Like, Matt Riddle is on level with these guys, if not a little higher. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
But Matt Riddle coming out and doing this lowbrow 420 comedy, like, this dude was just in a very heated feud with Seth Rollins, who is a top star, and then beat Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. To me, that says Matt Riddle should be way above and way higher than these bong jokes that he keeps doing over and over again. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't laugh, like, especially when, like, it was either Jimmy or Jay kept hitting him too much, and he said, "Come on, man, pat, pat, pass," or something like that.
Yeah, tap, pass. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there were some funny jokes in there, but it still defines him down. Like, and Riddle is too good of a talent to be on that level, and so I don't know. It felt weird to me.
I want to say that this is a part of who Riddle is. Like, the comedy is part of him. But what I have a problem with is him being put into the comedy relief spot all the time. Like,
Yes.
I will enjoy his comedy no matter where he puts it in. But don't make that the point of having Matt Riddle come down and just be, you know what I mean? Like,
right. No, there is a lot of
let it feel a little bit more
who are
organic to me. Like, that's what I want.
Well, because there's a lot of superstars in history that are hysterically funny, but at the same time, like, they were taken seriously. Like, dude, Triple H is a funny dude. Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Edge. Like, these are all guys that were hilarious. The Rock, hilarious on camera and hilarious doing promos, but they were never defined down that, like, to the point where they came out like Riddle, to me, if we're going to go history in here, he came out in, like, this Al Snow type role. Like, that's what it felt like to me, where he just came out here just to make some random fans happy and come out there because he's a dude that can work, but he's also just a funny guy, but he's going to take the pin kind of thing. And I understand you can't have the Usos losing this match and you can't have the New Day losing this match because of their match on Friday. And you also can't have Solo Sikoa losing this match because that dude hasn't lost yet. So, like, I understand you needed someone in there to make the pin, but you can't tell me you didn't have so many guys back there that could have easily been slotted into that position. Like, that, I don't know, Riddle just seemed above what they were doing. And I didn't enjoy that portion of it. And it's just because I didn't enjoy him being that portion of it.
Well, let's talk about the match, because it is the first match of the night. And I'll come back around to some of your thoughts here about Riddle being a part of this, because the match is what makes up for it to me. Okay?
Yes.
So, it's a 6-man tag with the New Day and Matt Riddle versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa. New Day and Riddle were doing well until Solo literally knocked Riddle off his game by knocking him off the top rope. Then they just start isolating Riddle after that, trading tags until Riddle finally gets the hot tag to Xavier. And the New Day take over from that point on. But Solo Sikoa is just a little bit too much for all of them. And he just beats them all around the ring until Riddle gets a hot tag to fire off a comeback series of maneuvers, ending with Jimmy taking an RKO. But Solo got the blind tag and hits Matt Riddle with the spinning Solo for the win. You know, Rob, I'd like to see a series between Matt and Solo Sikoa, because this is one of those matches that we say it all the time here at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. This is a match I didn't know that I needed to see.
I completely agree with you. That is one of the matches I will be excited to see. Kind of like I said before, you did a little analysis there. You knew who was taking the pin when this match started, because you can't have the New Day or the Usos lose, because you don't want to foreshadow Friday. You also don't want either of them looking weak going into Friday, because that's going to be your main event. That's the big match. But then also Solo Sikoa hasn't lost a match yet, so you don't want his first pinfall to be in a random 6-man tag on Raw. Like, you got to make that a big moment when it does happen. And I'm also with you where everything joke-wise, like I said ahead of time, completely vanished and erased when the match started. Like, Matt Riddle, that dude shows up in the ring week in, week out. That dude just really puts on a fantastic match. So, overall, I thought, like, the whole segment was good. It was a fun 6-man tag to start the show off on Raw. Like, I hated the way it got set up, because I hate the way they always set up random, like, where Riddle's like, well, I could do math, and there's 3 of us, and there's 3 of you, so we should have a match right here. This whole segment took up almost the entire first hour of Raw. Therefore, what I'm getting out of the booking committee, quote unquote, is they didn't have anything planned for the first hour of Raw, but thank God Riddle came out there and can do math. So, like, please, like, just advertise the match. It's okay. Like, I'm down for that. Like, I understand you want to be, like, spontaneous, things like that, but no, like, that it comes across as a little childish to me. Like, have it booked, have it ready, promote something so I want to watch it. Like, I want to know what's going to happen. Like, especially right now with Monday Night Football, if you're telling me that we're going to start the show with this 6-man tag, I'm going to watch this show over Monday Night Football. Like, so promote that stuff. I enjoy that. But as a match, it was a solid match. It was fun. You're going to get, I thought it was just like a teaser, like an appetizer of what we're going to get on Friday. Like, I hope they give the Usos a New Day. I would not be upset if you hear the Usos or the New Day music hit this Friday at like 9:10. Like, I would be so happy about that and give them the entire last 45 minutes, 40 minutes to just put on a classic. So I thought this was a good teaser. Brought back a lot of the moves that the two teams did to each other. Some spots the two teams did to each other back in the day. But right guy got pinned. Right guy went over. Solo Sikoa looked strong, and yeah, that was a fun opener.
Let's not overlook something important, which is Sami Zayn not being here on Raw.
He was not there.
And they mentioned that they have not heard from Sami since Friday Night SmackDown. So I believe this is just the beginning of the dissension. Or this is a mere teaser.
So there are
cannot
two
wait
things
for Friday night.
There are two things. Can I say them real fast before we move on? So one is, I don't want this to be the start of the dissension. Like, this bloodline, Sami Zayn, Jay is the thing. I know everyone's like, War Games is when it's all going to explode and blow. They have another 2 months into that. They can let this ride out until January. It's perfectly fine. There's enough content there. Let it ride out. No one's upset about it. But two, the heat that will exist if somehow Sami shows up to try and help, but it causes the Usos to lose the titles right before they were going to break the record. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, that would just, like, my mind would explode knowing that Jay and Sami are about to just have the biggest battle. Oh my god. Yeah, so like that, those are, I don't want the dissension to start, but also if that's how it starts, I'm going to be so happy too, because those are both excellent options.
Sami prevents him somehow, some way from capturing that record.
Man, oh my gosh, that'd be so good. All right, you can move on.
All right. Well, it's time for our least favorite time of the night. No, it's not Vader time. It's not Hammer time. Despite his pants, it's time for Tall Tales with JBL. I'm happy to report this week, though, that JBL's promo is a land speed record for him because it was the shortest one yet. He did pronounce Corbin's last name wrong, but I'll accept it over him talking about how much he hates the city and he hates the state that he's in. Unfortunately, he joins commentary for the second match of the night, Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander. I can't tell you the last time we seen Cedric Alexander was, but Cedric took the fight to Corbin, putting Baron on defense and causing Corbin to result to sliding out of the ring, and Cedric gave chase, and when Corbin went to go slide back into the ring, Alexander eats an end of days, and Corbin gets the win. This was pretty short and sweet. We're gonna be saying that a lot coming up, because this was a theme throughout the night, it seems like. But Rob, tell us about how happy you are to see Cedric Alexander on Monday Night Raw.
I was very excited to see Cedric. So we'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later, because there are more people I was excited to see as well. I think Cedric's fantastic. I actually thought this was a perfect spot for him too, because what I want him to do later has nothing to do with the singles run. So he's a good, smaller guy that can bump hard for Corbin, which Corbin needs that right now. And that end of day spot was excellent. The jump off the top of the ropes right into the end of days was a fantastic spot, and you can only do that when you have athletic guys like Cedric Alexander. So I think Cedric playing his role tonight was perfect. I hope there's a different role for him in the coming weeks that we see. But for what, just to get his name back on TV, just to he got an entrance too. It wasn't even a back from commercial, and he's in the ring too. So we got an entrance even that was nice too. I think Baron Corbin just beating up on smaller, quote unquote, indie talent is a excellent gimmick for him right now. And the JBL promo was actually very short, which made all of us happier.
It definitely made me happy. I like the fact that Baron I love the mind games of him sliding out of the ring and then tricking, like double backing to get back in the ring, and just sets it up perfectly for him to get the end of days just all of a sudden. Cedric Alexander did show up tonight, and he took it to Baron Corbin, like I said, coming right out the gate hot. And this is a first time in a long time that we've seen him, which we see some other people later on in the night, which develop some theories. You can't help but want a fantasy book here, and we can't either at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. I'm excited. I'm glad Cedric gets a match on Monday Night Raw, and I think Corbin actually, the right person went over here. So, yeah, good match. But next up, Seth Rollins. He ends up coming down to the ring, and he says it's time for the United States Championship Open Challenge. And to answer that challenge was the Judgment Day. All four of them come down to the ring, but only Finn gets into the ring with Rollins, and the rest kind of just circle each side of the ring. Finn reminds Seth that a couple of years ago, Seth cost Balor gold. So tonight, Balor's going to cost Seth gold. But that's when he's interrupted by the OC. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows come down to the ring. Rollins sort of sneaks away and just slinks up the ramp and out of sight. Styles pulls out a mic and tells Judgment Day that this is far from over. And that's when Finn Balor starts to say something about the three of them. And AJ cuts him off, saying that's the problem. It's always the three of us against the four of you. He says that the OC still haven't found someone to help them with their Rhea Ripley problem. That someone found the OC. And that's when a hooded woman attacks Rhea Ripley, taking her out, and she reveals herself to be Mia Yim. Mia Yim makes her re-debut in a fashionable style, attacking her old rival, her old NXT rival in Rhea Ripley. The OC then take out all of the Judgment Day along with Mia Yim by their side, concluding with AJ hitting the Styles Clash on Dominic Mysterio. Rob, I know this isn't the person you wanted to see help out the OC, and I'll be honest with you, this was somebody I didn't expect to come help out the OC. What are your thoughts about Mia Yim being back?
So this is twice now Triple H has done this to us. So for the Ronda Rousey Open Challenge, neither of us were thinking Emma. Like that was the last name that came to mind for either of us. And I as always, I still think the obvious, and Triple H is really good at long-term booking. So I would not be surprised with WrestleMania being more of a spectacle. That's when we're finally going to get the Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Balor and Rhea, or maybe at the Rumble, just sometime at a bigger event. So that's one of those things where I know that's coming down the line. I didn't think Beth was going to come out and actually be a member of the OC. Are we stating that Mia Yim is a member of the OC?
Well, there is a promo, so we'll come back to that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
That kind of develops a little bit to make you think that this girl is in the OC for at least now.
Okay, we'll talk about that later then. But yeah, no, Mia Yim being back is awesome. To me, she's actually an even better get to the roster than Nikki Cross is. She brings a lot more personality to the microphone. She brings a lot more of that badass attitude. I mean, she's the baddie. Like, they're bringing a little bit more of that badass attitude. And I think she is someone that can have better feuds in the future with the likes of a Bailey, with the likes of a Bianca Belair, with the likes of a Rhea Ripley where we're at now. She is more capable of not winning those main event feuds, but being in those women's main event feuds, comparatively to where Nikki Cross was as a return and things like that. So I thought her coming back was an excellent decision. It's also just another face, man. Like I think the Raw women's roster, we're starting to get to about almost 10 to 11 women. I think each roster should have near 15 at the time, just because I think that's a perfect number. So where you can have more diversified matches. So I was very happy with that. Can I talk about the promo, a little bit about the promo with Styles and Balor?
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things is, so Balor is really playing into this, using insider terminology and also just talking about things like he loves talking about he's the originator of the Bullet Club without saying Bullet Club and etc. But one of the lines I really loved is Styles said that this is far from over, and Balor responds to him that the only thing in the ring that's over is us.
Yeah, the only thing that's over is the Judgment Day.
It's the Judgment Day.
It was a good line. And you can tell AJ probably had to really hold it back there from cracking his smile.
I know, it's like sort of those where you kind of want to feel like, I want to fist bump you. That was great.
I love this cheesy just MTV Finn Balor that we're getting.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of. Is he's hosting an MTV show right now.
Absolutely.
He's just saying all these funny, snappy, the worst comebacks you can imagine, but
yes,
for some reason his delivery just makes it good.
Do you remember the TV show on MTV called Next? Where
I do,
people, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, it'd be like
terrible show.
Awful.
Terrible
It'd be like
show.
four men on a bus, and then a woman dating one of them. So one of them would come out of the bus. She would go on a date, and at any moment in the date, she could just say next, and that guy has to go away. But when the guys would get off the bus, they'd be like, "Hi, my name's Kevin. I like this. I like that. And then if this girl has any ounce of body weight, she gotta go." That's what Finn Balor is acting like right now. That's the level of terribleness that he's at. But I did like the callback to SummerSlam 2016 where he separated his shoulder, or the labrum. It was a torn labrum, I believe, from the Rollins buckle bomb in the barricade. So that's where he's talking about where Rollins cost him gold. I don't think Balor and Rollins interaction tonight was, I don't think it was for the short term. I think those two, I think the U.S. title right now.
I think that's coming back around.
I do. I think the U.S. title right now is being treated as a world title for Raw, which I like. I like a lot. They're getting a lot of prestige on that. Since Roman holds the two belts and Roman doesn't work on Mondays, they need a belt there. And I think the U.S. title is actually doing a really good job of being that belt. And so if you're telling me later we're going to get a Rollins
title on
yeah, love it. So if you're telling me later we're going to get a Rollins Balor U.S. title feud down the road, and I think we will. Man, I'm so down for that.
Well, after learning Seth Rollins will still hold an open challenge later tonight, we get to our third match of the night: Otis with Chad Gable at ringside versus Elias. The match was another short-lived match. Elias just couldn't get any momentum going against Otis, who just used his girthy size to his advantage. Elias started to rally, but Gable caused the distraction, and Otis wins after hitting the World's Strongest Slam. Another short and sweet match. Hate to say that Elias shouldn't have taken a loss here. I love Alpha Academy, but Elias being fresh back, this is his third week back.
Roughly,
yeah. Let's get him some wins.
This to me felt very house show. I think it was supposed to be just kind of a nice calm down after we just had that Mia Yim come out for the reveal and all that moment. So I feel like this was just kind of a quick little calm down. Hey, if your kids need to go to the bathroom, anything like that kind of moment. But also we get the rare Otis in a singles match. We don't get that too often, so it's kind of nice to see him do that. I just think both both of these guys need someone either a little bit more agile. They just didn't mesh very well. They were what they were. It was a fine, okay match. It was just very house show.
Well, let's head backstage where Byron Saxton has a distraught Judgment Day standing by, and Finn says the OC have 99 problems, and Dominic says the OC think they have found someone to take on Mommy. Then Rhea says it doesn't matter. They can bring an entire army in, and the Judgment Day start walking away, and as they do, Bianca Belair passes by and just stops and smiles before passing in front of Rhea Ripley. So, like you're saying earlier, Rob, there's a lot of long-term storyline going on here. I think we're getting these subtle hints, and man, it's the teasing here. I like it.
This is a Triple H specialty. He loves to plant seeds in your head, and it makes it one of those where he's not going to give it to you right away. He's going to make you wait for it. This is one that we're going to have to wait for Rumble or Mania. So I don't know if Belair's holding the belt that long, but that's one of those matches that we're just going to have to wait a long time to get to. But I love things like that. Just make those little teases, make those make them just slightly walk around each other, give each other the acknowledgement they exist, and then they move on. We don't need to rush into that. Can I talk about Damian Priest for a second? Like, I like him in the Judgment Day, but I'm waiting for him to be more of a... Like, two things have to happen, and I understand they have the Usos with the tag titles. Either he and Finn need to work hard to get those tag titles to make a little bit more prestige, or he needs to do something right now. I feel like Damian Priest is playing second fiddle to Finn, which he should, but he's also more... He's like just there, because the main storyline is Dominic and Rhea, and then Finn, and then you just have Damian there. I don't know. Like, I feel like he needs to be doing something a little bit more. I don't. It's just it's weird to me. Like, I feel like he's more talented than what's being shown and done.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Okay. So I don't know. He's just kind of pretty much. He's the guy that just shows up and just says, you know, the Judgment Day will rise. That's what he does.
He's the original member too. He's the first member of the Judgment Day.
That part's true. That part is true. So, all right, gotta give respect to the OG.
But let's go to the ring, because Bianca Belair comes out with Asuka and Alexa Bliss. We get a promo from Bianca saying it's far from over with Damage Control, and Damage Control comes down. Dakota and Io with mics bragging about beating Asuka and Alexa. Alexa gives a snappy comeback saying it's only because of Nikki Cross. Then Asuka and Io cut promos on each other in Japanese. I don't know Japanese. I'm spoiled from subtitles, but I've watched enough anime to know it didn't sound very nice. And whatever Asuka said to Io, it made Io call her a bitch in English. A brawl breaks out. Then Bianca says this is ending at War Games, but then Nikki Cross attacks them from behind. Looks like Damage Control has their fourth person, Rob.
They do. So Nikki Cross being there has decided to be part of... I don't know if she's part of Damage Control, but she's at least acknowledging she's going to join them for War Games. Couple things on these promos, and also Bayley was in the background on this. I don't know if she was just having an off night, because even when she did commentary later, she was real quiet. Or if she is just doing an amazing job selling her sadness that she did not win the title this past weekend, which I hope it's that, because that's awesome. Because I hate, like, the one thing Asuka and Alexa did that I hated is on their entrance out there is they were doing their normal, excited, happy stuff. And I'm like, y'all just lost the titles this past weekend, man. Just, like, act like it. Act like you're upset about that stuff. Like, you as a character should be upset that you are no longer the tag champions. Dakota Kai taking the reins for the promo on the way down. Not my favorite, but I want to continue to give her work, because that's the only way you're going to get better. Few flubs in there. You can tell she's a little nervous, but just give her more time. I think it'll be okay. I love when they have Asuka and Io just yelling back at each other. But my favorite part of it is like the surprised look, and everyone's so excited because they speak Japanese, and I don't know like why people are so impressed by it. Like they're from Japan. Like I don't know. It would be like people from Japan being so amazed how white people from America are yelling at each other in English. Like that's what we speak, so that's why it's easy. But yeah, Asuka was doing the baka baka baka, so chicken thing to Io. And then Io, of course, just called her a bitch, which that's like the number one word for all women in WWE to wear them's fighting words, and we're gonna get started. So let's just go with the main question here. Let's do it now. Who is the fifth member of Damage Control, and then who are the two members that's going to be joining Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka?
Well, I like your theory from a few weeks ago where Candice LeRae is going to be the fifth member of the Damage Control War Games team.
Yes.
Pretty sure that's exactly where that's going to go, and I think that would be a shock and makes good storytelling, especially since there is history predating WWE between Bayley and Candice LeRae. I like that. And then there's two spots for Bianca's team. I mean, I might as well just say what the people want, and that's Naomi and Sasha Banks.
I think Becky Lynch is one of those people.
I think it is about time. I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I just said that because that's the popular opinion. Everybody's
It is. It is.
That's where my mind's been going with this whole Damage Control storyline this entire time, and there's no real word or information out there about what's going on between those two. So, we're just sort of waiting to see what happens. And I think all is quiet for a reason. I'll say that at least. And, but I'm with you. I think Becky is about healed up now and ready to come back. That still would leave one other spot.
Yeah, I don't know who I mean, a little bit of me thinks Doudrop maybe. I don't think it would be a big surprise or shock for someone, but Doudrop would be good. Especially
since Nikki Cross is on the other team and Doudrop comes back as like Piper Niven.
And because I feel like the SmackDown roster needs Sasha and Naomi more than the Raw roster.
You're probably, I think you're right.
So, just my opinion.
Well, let's move on and talk about our fourth match of the night, which was Austin Theory versus Shelton Benjamin. This match is a result of Shelton trying to give Theory some advice earlier in the day about how to deal with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Theory didn't want any part of it, disrespecting Shelton, so Benjamin challenged him to a match. This was a decent back and forth match, with Austin Theory showing up to Shelton Benjamin, causing Shelton to go more on a defensive counter tactic, and that resulted with Theory raking the eyes and winning after hitting A-Town down. Another short and sweet match here. I think we're just ramping up for that main event spot because the main event gets a lot of time. So, but again, another person, part of a certain faction that we both know and love, makes an appearance tonight. What do you think about this, Rob?
I like it. I feel like it's just, let's just introduce these guys back in. So Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, we all loved them as part of the Hurt Business. We're hoping to see Triple H is really building up a lot of different factions right now, so I would love to see the Hurt Business make a comeback. So I think this is a good way to just introduce these guys back. They're not guys that are going to be winning singles matches, and they're putting over people that need to be put over, so I'm not upset about that at all, and they can give you a good match with everyone. Like, I am an Austin Theory hater, not for the talent, not for his personality, because the dude plays a douchebag perfectly. Like, do you watch the Celtic Warrior workouts with Sheamus on his YouTube channel? Did you see the one with Theory?
No.
Oh gosh, dude. So Theory did an only arms episode. So of course the whole thing is just showing off his biceps the whole time. And he is on an MJF level where even on this YouTube channel where everyone else is usually just acting normal like themselves, Theory keeps character. Theory is like, I'm the youngest this, I'm the best this. Like, he is keeping character. So kudos to that dude. So this is not a Theory hate when I say this. Theory has been put on some of the best matches we've had in the past few weeks on Raw. Like, a lot of great matches. But B, this is just another perfect spot for him. Right now, he's just a mid-carder who needs to beat guys that put on great matches, and then we'll just slowly build from there. So, yeah, no, it was good. It was solid, and I hope, for us, I hope it leads to the Hurt Business coming back together, because also that just does nothing but adds another awesome tag team to the mix when it comes to Benjamin and Alexander.
Before we get to our fifth match of the night, The Miz versus Johnny Gargano, The Miz comes out and he tells us Johnny's interview last week is false and fabricated. He says no one believes The Miz, not even his own father. He tells us that there's one silver lining in it all, and that his Hollywood agent's phone hasn't stopped ringing, and he just met with a big-time Hollywood producer who wants to tell the real story, the true story, his story. And Johnny Gargano comes out and tells us he's always liked the Miz's dad. He's a very smart man. Then he tells us he needs to blow the whistle on himself. He was hoping after he did the tell-all interview that the public would shame the Miz, and the Miz would admit his wrong and pay Dexter Lumis the money that he owes him. But since that didn't happen, he hired a private investigator who acted as the big Hollywood producer that the Miz just met with. And she was wearing a camera. So Johnny pulls out a universal remote from home and turns on the Titantron to play the footage of this meeting between the Miz and the Hollywood producer, the fake Hollywood producer. We see the Miz being asked about the real story, and the Miz reveals to the woman that everything Johnny is saying is true, and that he started with paying Dexter Lumis to boost his career, and everything was going perfect until he stopped paying Dexter. He says everything got too crazy. People were asking too many questions, so he panicked and decided not to pay Dexter anymore. Before we get to the match, let's talk about this promo and all this information we just picked up. Rob, what do you think about it?
So, when we heard about this last week, I hated it. I did. But this week, I loved it. It's silly, it's stupid, it's over the top, but like, no one does it better than the Miz does on that stuff. Like, Miz, you give the Miz anything, and that dude just knocks it out the park. It doesn't matter how silly and dumb it is. So, like, kudos to that guy. But Johnny Gargano's doing a great job too. Like, so Gargano, he's always been like fine on the mic. He's always been fine as kind of what he is. But like, he is carrying his weight when it comes to this over-the-top storyline really well. And I think it's like solidifying him as a guy that is like an all-around dude that can be a big, I don't know if a big star is the right word, but can be like a top player in this Raw setting, this Raw, this group of people that they have right now. So I want to give kudos to everyone all around. I want to give kudos to the story. I thought it was excellent. I love shocked Miz. I love when Miz gets played, because Miz gets played all the time and no one just like gets shocked better than that. So it was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. They had to blow the whistle on him. And so I'm going to blow the whistle on us for a second. So, one thing that we want to make sure you all go out and do is be sure to follow us on our social medias. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and then definitely go on YouTube. You can find a lot of videos on us on YouTube. So just search Cream of the Crop Wrestling on YouTube. And be sure to like, share that stuff, subscribe it, comment with us. We want to respond back to you because, look, we're here to gain more followers. We're here to engage with wrestling fans. So the more you guys comment, the more you like our stuff, the more people that are going to listen to our content, and then we can engage with more of you. And the number one goal here is just to bring wrestling fans together and enjoy the product. So we would really, really appreciate that here at Creep of the Crop Wrestling.
All right, well, let's talk about the match. Miz versus Johnny Gargano. The match gets underway with the Miz letting his emotions get in the way, so Johnny Wrestling is on offense at the first part of the match. Gargano starts targeting the Miz's left arm. The Miz builds momentum after that with some kicks targeting Johnny's ribs. They come to a back and forth, trading offensive maneuvers. They keep countering each other, but Miz is more on the defensive until he gets knocked out of the ring by Johnny and then slides backwards, acting like he's being pulled under the ring. He comes back out and he's got a turnbuckle strut, which is what they use to hook and tighten the ropes on the turnbuckles. And he tells the ref somebody is underneath the ring, and the ref goes to check. And that's when the Miz hits Johnny with the turnbuckle strut. Ref didn't see it. Miz gets in the ring and gets the pin and gets the win. But as he's leaving up the ramp, he's attacked from behind by Dexter Lumis, who hits him with a steel chair and then sits in the chair and just stares at him until security chases him away. What do you think about this match, Rob?
This was an excellent Raw match. Like, I want to give kudos to both wrestlers. Let's talk about The Miz for a second. So I don't think what people realize The Miz has been doing these last almost like 4 years. Miz was part of WWE from like 09, from 09 to 2015. There's a lot of guys he wrestled that are that safe WWE style that's really generic and bland. That dude has transformed himself into being able to do that style mixed with the modern day style of a little bit more of high risk, and it's a lot of back and forth and a little bit more acrobatic mixed with a combination of he attempted more like super kicks tonight. He attempted more like just moves we haven't seen from him. So that dude is evolving in front of our eyes, and that he needs to get more praise from all of us around. The match was I loved this match. I thought it was fantastic. We all know Johnny Gargano can't have a bad match. One of my favorite comments was they were doing a back and forth exchange of super kicks, and Miz hit one, and it wasn't great. It was like hit more Johnny in the chest, and it wasn't intense or anything like that. And I think Corey Graves made the comment. He's like, I don't know if I'd call it super, but I mean, it was above average. So, like, I really liked that comment a lot. So that was good. I love Corey Graves the whole time backing Miz up, saying that everything that you saw on the camera was just out of context, doing an amazing heel job on there. And Kevin Patrick, this match had a lot of near falls in it, and Kevin Patrick made me excited. This crowd got into it. Like, everything about it was just fantastic. I can't speak enough about this one. This one was something I really enjoyed. I got excited about all of it. The ending. So usually I get a little upset when there's a schmoz ending after a really good match, but not this time. This propelled the story even farther. Like, I thought it was excellent. Miz pretending to get dragged underneath the ring, and then he grabs what looked like the steel pipe they use in the turnbuckles to set that up. And he looks like he's trying to protect himself, makes the ref look underneath the ring, says someone's under there. And why he does that, he hits Gargano in the head with that metal lead pipe, steals the victory, and it didn't take anything away from the match, even though they had a great one. It didn't steal anything from me whatsoever. I thought it was a perfect ending for that match. And then Lumis coming out and gives a great chair shot to The Miz. Like, that was an excellent, nice chair shot. Miz sold it perfectly. This storyline, which I thought was getting a little long in the tooth and I wasn't enjoying it as much, has like just sparked so much more interest in it for me, all because of tonight. I thought this was a perfect segment from beginning to end.
Well, let's go backstage to Damage Control, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, with Bayley talking to Nikki Cross, trying to convince her it's good to be a part of their War Games team, and tonight they want her to destroy Dana Brooke. Nikki Cross just starts maniacally laughing and says it's time to play, and heads out to the ring for our sixth match of the night. Nikki Cross versus Dana Brooke for the 24/7 championship. Bayley joins commentary and Damage Control are at ringside. Nikki used an unrelenting aggressive offense and just kept going after Dana Brooke, not letting her breathe. Dana Brooke did her best to try to defend off Nikki, but Nikki was just too much, and she is our new 24/7 champion. At the end of the match, though, Bayley grabs the belt and puts it on Nikki, who doesn't even seem to acknowledge that she just won a championship. She just stays in her own little world, staring in the distance. It cuts to backstage, and Damage Control are walking behind Nikki Cross, and Nikki, who just has a deranged smile on her face and she's just staring upwards at the ceiling. She passes by a trash bin and just kind of dumps the 24/7 championship in it. Rob, what are some of your thoughts about this?
She attempted to drop it in there. She missed. I don't know if you saw that or not. She missed it. I don't understand. I guess I didn't understand why Damage Control really wanted to put a beatdown on Dana Brooke. That never really occurred to me why that existed. I think this whole thing was just a way to get rid of the 24/7 title, but also put over Nikki Cross a little bit more because, she took that pin last week, so I think it was a good way to get her back on the winning track and looking more dangerous, because I thought this whole night she looked the most dangerous of any of the women, actually, so between the brawl earlier and this match. I do love the Medusa callback, trying to drop it into the title to get rid of it. If this is getting rid of the title, Triple H, I praise you for that. We do not need this belt. This belt was stupid. I was perfectly fine that you just didn't acknowledge it and just never let it be seen again, but this works too. Either way, I'm good. I thought it was just a nice, quick, easy segment to definitely just put over Nikki, put her in a squash match, and then get rid of the belt all at the same time, and it didn't harm anyone. On commentary, again, Bayley was very dead, and I don't know if something's up with her tonight or if it was just her sadness from losing this past weekend, and if it's the second one, I hope it is, because that's awesome. Play that character. You lost your title. You didn't lose your title, but you lost that championship match that you're probably not going to get a second opportunity to do unless you win the Rumble later or something like that. You're in the back of the line now, and you're very upset about it, so please act like that, and she is doing that. And so I love it when people who lose big matches come out and they're just kind of sad and dead a little bit. So I enjoyed that about her. Favorite line through this, though, was Corey Graves again. The match was so quick, he said he didn't have time to say anything about Dana Brooke to get her all riled up on the internet. So I enjoyed that. Dana Brooke, if you don't know, follow her on Twitter. She likes to yell about everyone and everything. So, that was about it.
On the other hand, I kind of enjoyed the 24/7 title. I enjoyed some of the segments we got out of it during its short run in the WWE. RIP to the 24/7 title. One thing about Dana Brooke, she looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
She looks absolutely fantastic, and I know we didn't get a good showing of what she is capable of doing in the ring, and she's been messing around with the 24/7 title that we haven't gotten a Dana Brooke actual in-ring match in a long time. So I'm interested to see where she's at, because at one point she was on the up and up, and it seemed like she was, on her way for a good push, and I think she's definitely past due.
I wonder if, now this is just all speculation what I'm saying here, so I have zero anything to back this up. I wonder if she is similar to Lana, where she looks good, she's very athletic, but as an actual just performer in the ring or an actual wrestler, for some reason it's just not clicking. I'm just curious, and this is just curiosity because we don't get to see Dana Brooke that much in the ring, and if we do, it's not for a very long, we don't see more than 4-minute matches with Dana Brooke. So I am just curious if that is something that's holding her back or if it's something else, because I am with you where I think she looks amazing. I think she cuts a good promo, so I don't understand why not.
She's over.
She is people like her.
Yeah, she's a very likable person.
Yeah, so I don't get it. I'm with you on this one. I don't understand it.
Well, we get a brief backstage interview next up, and it's with the OC and their newest member, Mia Yim, who's happy to help the OC take care of their Rhea Ripley problem. Drinks are on her tonight. They're headed out to the bar. I think this confirms our thoughts earlier, whether is she a official member or a temporary member. At least she's one of the boys for tonight. So
yes. My favorite line though was near the end there, where after she said she has the bill, AJ's like, they have high tolerance, right? I was like, that good line. Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to our main event of the evening. It's time for Seth Rollins and his U.S. Open Challenge. Seth comes out to the ring and he picks up where he left off earlier. He tells us that this month marks 10 years that he's been in the WWE. He goes on and cuts a promo about how great he is and soaks up the crowd singing his song and wonders who's going to answer his open challenge. And that's when Mustafa Ali appears on the Titantron, saying Seth can look no further in a challenger. But then all of a sudden, Mustafa is yanked out of view and beaten up, and Bobby Lashley walks into the frame. After beating up Mustafa, Bobby tells us that he already took care of the first reason why he doesn't have the U.S. Championship right now, and now it's time for him to take care of the second reason, which is Seth Rollins. The Almighty comes down to the ring. I love Bobby Lashley's entrance. I love it. It's the best. He comes down, starts laying into Seth before the bell, and he just slams him all around the ring and into the barricade. Lashley just beats the hell out of Rollins all around the ring and ends up putting him through the announcer's desk. The match hasn't even started yet. Security and producers come out to stop Bobby because he just destroyed Seth. Bobby, feeling somewhat accomplished, leaves up the ramp, but as he's leaving, Austin Theory comes down to the ring carrying his Money in the Bank briefcase. Theory hands the briefcase to the referee and then throws Seth Rollins into the ring. Seth barely stands up and the bell rings. Theory hits him with a left hook, and it's still not enough to put Seth away. They just fight back and forth and Seth just fights back at him, and he ends up reversing the A-Town down to attempt a pedigree, but Theory reverses the pedigree to do a pedigree of his own, and it still wasn't enough to finish off Seth. Seth tries to fight back. Austin Theory hits the A-Town down, and just when he's about to win, Bobby Lashley pulls the ref out of the ring. Theory says Bobby ruined it, and then Bobby starts attacking Austin Theory, slamming him into the ring post and the barricade, and it ends by putting Theory in the hurt lock, and Theory just passes out. Theory almost is counted out, but slides in at the last moment just to be stomped by Seth Rollins, who covers Theory and retains the U.S. Championship. But Austin Theory loses the Money in the Bank briefcase. Rob, what the hell just happened?
So much just happened. Let's talk about Seth Rollins' awesome blonde hair. Love it. Love the streaks. Looking good, man. B, Mustafa Ali, who has been trying to get this U.S. title shot, is thwarted again. So that is another one where I think that match, when it finally happens, it's going to be good. They're kind of making him look like a little bit of a geek on this, but out of all the people that could have destroyed him at this moment, no one right now, besides Roman Reigns, looks as dominant as Bobby Lashley. He controlled majority of the match against Lesnar, even though he lost. He destroyed Lesnar after the match and made Lesnar just look like he had just seen a ghost afterwards, which was, you don't do that to Lesnar. And then on this show, he went out there and he literally wreaked havoc on everyone involved. So for me, Bobby Lashley comes out not only looking like just a freak of nature, but like he comes out just looking like a legit top badass. And dare I say, someone that could challenge for Roman Reigns come around Rumble time? Nah? Little bit of Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns for the Rumble ski?
Let me tell you how my thought process went through this, because I got excited when I first seen Mustafa Ali pop up on the Titantron. I was like, yes, we're going to get this Mustafa Ali Seth Rollins match that we've been waiting for, right? Mm-hmm. And then Bobby Lashley pops up on the screen. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming to take the U.S. Championship back. Well, this is great. I just more amped up. And Bobby just comes down and beats up Seth, and that throws me off a little bit. That he just got like the match just doesn't even get underway here. And then Theory coming out and with the briefcase, and he just just hints at he's cashing in the briefcase, walking down the ramp by looking at the briefcase, and that got me amped up. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to cash in the briefcase for the U.S. Championship. This is going to be awesome. And then Bobby interrupts the match and stops and pretty much prevents Theory from winning. Like, man, what is going on? I just went on a roller coaster of emotions, like getting more amped up and more amped up. And Seth is still our U.S. champion. And I'm not disappointed.
Oh, no, this whole segment was fantastic. It was a great way to end the show. Like, I thought in the whole time Triple H took over, he is trying to find a way to get that briefcase off Theory because Theory's not beating Roman Reigns. None of us thought he was going to beat Roman Reigns. So, like, you made the U.S. title look like an even bigger title because someone cashed in Money in the Bank for the U.S. title. Like, no one's ever done that before. So that made that title look even more prestigious. And then B, you got the title, or you got the briefcase off of him, which was an excellent move because it didn't need to be on him. Like, there are so many different guys that should have had that briefcase before him. So you got that off him, which is excellent. But then you also essentially create this 4-way feud for this U.S. title where, like, it could go anywhere. Like, it could be Lashley trying to get that title back from Rollins. It could be Theory then trying to get revenge on Lashley for doing that, but also still trying to get his U.S. title shot from Rollins because he was thwarted by Lashley. Then mixed with Ali, who didn't get his shot when he wanted to go out for the open challenge because Lashley was just like, nah, dude, like, no, not going to happen. I'm going to get you. So, like, there is this 4-way rush for this title between 4 awesome dudes that I have no prediction or anyway on how it's going to play out. I was on a hell of a ride this whole time, and I am excited to see where it goes. Like, it was a fun and exciting way to close the show.
This was a great show. Let's talk about our favorite moments of this show. Beginning with our least favorite moment, the near fall. What is your near fall of the night?
Near fall of the night tonight for me was Riddle coming out as the quote-unquote comic relief.
I don't have really a near fall. I don't have a gripe. I don't have anything to say bad about this show.
It was a good show.
I would say, like, if anything, I would have to agree with you and say that, yeah, I don't want to see Riddle fall back into the comedy relief, but yet again, they made up for it with the match right after, to me. So again, all in all, good show. And I can't even say JBL was the worst part of the show because he only was on screen for maybe 4 minutes. So,
yep.
But let's move on to our favorite bump of the night. Did you see crazy bump, or what is your favorite move of the night?
Tonight I enjoyed the Cedric Alexander slingshot straight into the end of days from Corbin. Like, I thought that was a fun little spot. It reminded me a lot of the Shelton Benjamin slingshot into the Sweet Chin Music from back in 2005. So it was very similar to that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick that as well. I think that the end of days is a top, it's a top 10 finisher
Such a good move
in WWE right now. Corbin could pull it out and use it like it's almost like an RKO. You don't know when it's really going to come, and it just comes out of nowhere. So definitely a good move. I didn't see any crazy bumps or notice anything too heavy that happened. So just a fun spot, fun move.
Well,
there.
that's why I like Corbin facing smaller guys like that, because then he can do that move out of nowhere in different crazy fun spots. Like that's why I enjoy him wrestling guys that are in the 5'10" range, 180 pounds.
What's your showstopper of the night? What's your favorite was there a good promo?
This actually, promo-wise, besides the very beginning with the New Day and the Usos, it was kind of like a show lacking of really great promos. I thought majority of it was just awesome moments that happened tonight. So I didn't think there's not a promo to me that stood out, I would say.
For me, actually, it would be the New Day and Uso promo. I really enjoyed that. I liked all the call outs of the back and forth between, the Usos telling them, like, you guys have so much and you guys have done so much. I think that was good storytelling. And then, I love the New Day saying that they're first generation superstars. They're going to protect their record come Friday. I think that's definitely the promo of the night right there. Let's talk about what was the best match of the night?
Best match of the night was the Gargano Miz match by far. That was a spectacular match. Especially there's a lot of near falls there. I just thought overall this was a match. Not the ending. The ending, I'd like to see a solid ending if this were on a pay-per-view. But the match as a whole, to me, was a pay-per-view match. It was good.
If you were to pick the actual, what was the best wrestling match, but is definitely the match to go with, it was the longest match of the night. Every match that we've seen tonight was, maybe barely broke over, 10 minutes, if that. The most exciting match was the main event was by far the most exciting, but definitely best match of the night, Miz versus Johnny Gargano. I mean, I was anticipating this matchup, and they didn't disappoint here. I really like the storytelling during the match, and Johnny Wrestling and The Miz just never can really have a bad match, no matter who they're against. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our program. You can show us some love with a like, leave us a comment, and give us a subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and TikTok, and all content can be seen on YouTube, and you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcast. Until the next episode, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob.
And thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. You can embrace the madness by finding us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at Cream of the Crop W. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by typing Cream of the Crop Wrestling in the search bar. Have fun with us on TikTok at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. And you can always find full episodes of the podcast wherever podcasts are found.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. You know that I'm the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Oh yeah.